Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the National Breakfast Call. This is a call that does it all for y'all. Well, maybe not all, but it is designed to train, motivate, and encourage. And we hope you derive at least one of those benefits. Make a little noise if you're excited, because not only is today going to be the biggest day in the history of sales, you have not given up on getting the 20K and getting that extra 1,000 smackaroo.
Oh,
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go. Roy was trying to move some folks to action there. Got Molly, got Jason, but nobody's out of it. You all literally could be in the mix if you opted in, because you're one big day away. How do you know you're one big day away? You just heard a bunch of people having big days yesterday. Give it up one more time for A.D. Howard and her.
Yes, that was
excellent.
excellent.
AD.
Proud of you.
Great job, AD.
Excellent, AD. Good job.
AD did an excellent job, but she has also given us a chance to share a little moneymaker with you all. So you guys have heard me say before that throughout the month, back in the day, when some of the old school, Roy refers to it as, I guess he says he was in the Stone Age. So maybe I was in the Bronze Age. But anyway, old school selling. But I heard something and it got my attention, because it reminded me of something that I hear a lot of you do. And if you change this perspective, it actually helps you to benefit your client, and it also benefits you as well. So I'm all about saving some money when it's time to save money for clients. But let's break down what the granddaughter said. Who remembers? AD can't say it, but I hope you were paying attention to what AD said. What was the granddaughter's actual criticism of the coverage? Anybody remember what she said?
Why is she paying so much?
Why is she paying so much?
You're paying too much.
Well, but she
And she
said
wasn't
something else.
paying-
Though.
The 2-year wait?
Nope.
No, it was only like a very minimal amount in comparison to the 30,000.
So exactly. So she didn't know that 30,000 existed. What she said was, "Grandma, you're paying too much for," what did she say?
Too little.
For what you're getting.
For what you're getting.
Getting.
So see, a lot of times as salespeople, we lock in on the paying too much part, and so we go in trying to save money. But what the granddaughter actually said, she didn't have a problem with what she was paying. She said, "Grandma, you're paying too much for what you're getting." Now, the reason that the granddaughter said you're paying too much for what you're getting, the granddaughter is aware of the grandmother's financial circumstance. And this grandmother, we know that the grandmother has discretionary income. How do we know that? Based on how the story turned out.
Because she was paying $500.
She was already paying $500, and then what happened?
Then she said, "What am I going to do with these other policies after getting those?"
Exactly. So she paid. How much was the new one that she paid?
329.
Exactly. So she paid three. She said, "Okay, here you go. Sign me up for another 339. So what should I do with these other five? What should I do with these other ones?" So she had no problem paying $800 to $1,000 a month, and the granddaughter knew it. So she's like, "Grandma, you got the money. You got the money to spend. I'm not even tripping off of the fact that you have spent $500. It's just if you're going to spend that much, you should get way more." Right? So AD or any of us, when we have these scenarios, we can go one or two directions. We can either focus on, okay, you're paying $5, let me have you pay less, or what else can we do, which helps the client and helps us? Well, if you're gonna pay $500,
Get him more coverage for the same.
let me get you more coverage.
More coverage.
And the client would have been just as happy, and the granddaughter would have been just as happy. If the grandmother reported back, "You know what, honey, you were right. I'm paying the same $500, but I'm getting almost twice as much." And the granddaughter would have said, "That's what I'm talking about, Grandma. See, when you're paying $500, that's what you should have been getting. You should have been getting 40,000, not 15,000." So it's not always about saving money. As a matter of fact, that if presented properly, who knows? The grandmother might have said, "What can I get for $800? I'm already paying $500. You got to what could I get for $8?" And then now all of a sudden that $100,000 Transamerica death benefit comes to play, because these are numbers that most people have never heard of, because there really never was $100,000 death benefit in one place. You could always do 50 and 50, right, with multiple carriers. So I'm saying that to say sometimes about once a month, that's that sale that's going to take you over the top in addition to all the other ones. And you'd be surprised that sometimes if you really pay attention, about once a week, if you're really listening to your client, about once a week, you've got one of these opportunities where the person's got plenty of money. Where it comes from, just so you know, sometimes they'll have a pension and Social Security. Sometimes they'll have 3 incomes. They got disability. They got something coming from the military. They got this. Sometimes they have side hustles. But a lot of your clients just don't always think, oh my God, save and save. They're on a fixed income, save. Because if you get them all of this coverage while they qualify, they can always do it in the future.
Go up.
Have more.
Lower it.
Add more.
Yeah, they can always
up or
go
down.
down.
Yeah.
They can always, but they're all one hospital visit away from not being able to go up, especially with immediate benefit. So you're not hurting your client. When your client, you always want to get them the most and best that you can get them at any given time. If they qualify for, immediate benefit today because they haven't had that heart attack yet, or that stroke, or that cancer diagnosis, or whatever, I'm going to get you the most that I can get you, the most value for what you're spending. I don't always get so locked in on save. Saving isn't always good. Now, you don't want to be in a situation. I was looking at one of the threads yesterday. I forget whose thread it was, but some client was balking about the payment, and they said they couldn't do it until June. And then once we figured out what the more appropriate premium would be, they were able to have the payment come out in May. That's an adjustment in the other direction. So sometimes it is like we talked about yesterday, the money. Sometimes the money requires us to go down in our coverage, but sometimes the money really requires us to go up. And don't forget those opportunities that when you recognize that there's discretionary income there and there's a need, that's a good opportunity for you and the client. Savings is good, but value is just as good. You're doing the same benefit. But excellent job getting that. Just keep that in the back of the mind, everybody. Clients can go up if need be. Clients can go down. How would you know if an adjustment needs to be made with your clients, particularly on an annual basis? Well, one of the ways you know if adjustments need to be made with your clients on an annual basis is if you communicate with your clients on an annual basis. We were talking the other day about existing clients, and some of you right now have no existing clients because you just got to SLS. So pretty soon you'll have some existing clients. Just keep selling. Some of you have a few because you've been with SLS for a few weeks now, until you got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Some of you have been averaging 5 clients a week for about the last year. So you've got a couple hundred clients. Some of you have been averaging 5 to 10 clients for the last several years, and you've got thousands of clients. But there's a very simple question that's put before all of us. When you have clients 5 or 500, do you think it makes sense to stay in touch with these clients or not? So anybody who thinks it doesn't make sense to stay in touch with your clients, nah, I just write them, forget all about them, I lose them, and I let the rest of the universe take my clients, steal my renewals, drop my 13-week percentage down to 42%. That way, every time I win a contest, instead of getting all the money, I get less money, and I like it that way. Make some noise.
Absolutely.
No. So it would appear that the nays do not have it. It would appear that the other side thinks that it makes more sense. No, it makes no sense. If I write a bunch of business, I want to be like Aaron. I want to do what Aaron said. Aaron said that he has these clients. He has them all lined up. Every time it's their birthday, he gives them a call. He stays in touch with them, and he likes it because the business is on the books. He can keep it on the books. He can make adjustments with the clients. If they're in a bad situation and they're getting ready to cancel, he can help them just ratchet that policy down just a little bit. It doesn't cut it in half. It's just, oh man, this policy is a little bit tight. And, paying $100, if I was paying 82, that would be better. He can ratchet some of the clients down. He ratchets some of the clients up because the client's like, hey, you know what? I got 20,000. I think I need 30. He likes being in touch with those clients because they help to get referrals for him. They'll say, hey, I'm okay right now, but my cousin Larry, he needs some insurance. We were just talking about it yesterday. So it gets referral opportunities there. He likes it because he talks to his clients and they confess to him sometimes because they'll say, oh, I don't have your policy anymore. You don't have my policy anymore. What happened? Well, somebody called and they told me this one's better. So he's able to do a policy review with the people that have replaced his policies, put those policies back on the books and increase his client base. And by doing all of that, instead of having a 32% or 42% 13-week quality, he has a 70 or even 80% 13-week quality, which means not only every time he wins a contest with SLS, and because the business that pays stays, he gets more money. So being Aaron in the Ultimate Challenge is better than being other people sometimes in the Ultimate Challenge, because he might place lower than you, but he might make more than you because he's getting a higher percentage of the check, but he wins the second most important contest of them all. We know the commission check, that's the most important contest of them all. But the second most important contest of them all is your renewals, right? Because that's something that's going to pay you year after year after year after year. It builds that residual income so that eventually you get to the point that you can work because you want to, not because you have to. If that scenario sounds a little better, make some noise.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, the only challenge is, say, Henry, it all sounds good in theory, but I'm already so busy and organization is not necessarily my strong suit. So I thought about what you said the other day. I actually even went to the portals and I looked at it and I said, well, I guess I could do this. I could go client by client in the portals. I could look to see whose birthday is when, and then I can call them, and I can do that every day, and I can do that every week, and I can add it to my things to do. And I think it's beneficial because it's going to make me a bunch of money. But we proposed a thought on Monday. We said, what if there was an actual campaign where all of your sales could be kept in one place? So if somebody's birthday was in June, let's just say, then in April, you could start to see all of your clients that have a birthday in June. And you could start to work those clients every single day, working your way forward. So you'd always be ahead of your clients. And you could communicate to them. And you can basically say, hey, you got a birthday coming up right around the corner. Happy birthday. Looking forward to that, I'm sure. Do you have any plans? The client's like, yes, I do. You build rapport, and then you do a needs analysis. You do a policy review if need be, and then you help your clients to get some insurance, and you add that to your call rotation. So now, instead of just having live transfers as an option, you have live transfers. You had these warm outbound calls. You have, if you want to just, run fast and free and get a little practice, you're able to do the DM database leads. But in addition to that, now you had your own existing clients that could be systematically contacted. We asked if that was available, would you use it? And we asked that question of you again.
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
My goodness,
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Yeah.
honey.
The reason I wanted Tanya Carlson to start reading that is because guess what you need to do?
We need to read it, read it, read it.
Follow
Read
it.
Same
it.
thing.
Read it. It's new, but all you got to do is read it. And the more you read it, you'll get more familiar with it. And like Tanya said, there's a lot of things a lot of factors there. Now, if you're fairly new, you might be a little intimidated by understanding the FISET part of it. I see a question there for John Dixon. John, go ahead and throw your question in the chat. You might be intimidated by the reading the FISET part because you're like, okay, I know, what was that? So when there's no renewal date, that means that they sold it, but then there was no payment. So then maybe that was a bad banking. And then I see one that does have a renewal date and there's no term date. So I think she said that's the one that's still in force. But then I saw another one that had a start date and then it had a term date. So I think that means that was out of force. There were so many moving parts. So if you looked at it, don't worry about that. You'll figure that out over time. Because if you go through and read the script, it's okay if your client, if you misunderstood it and you're like, okay, is this an in force or out of force? And so you just start talking. Your client's going to tell you in many cases. So that you go, I don't have that one anymore. And then if they do, all you would say, hold on, let me just double check the system. So you don't? Well, what happened to that one? I think I canceled that one. Well, did you replace it? Yes, yeah. What did you get instead? You do have to be on your toes a little bit, but for the most part, your client will walk you through it because you can do a policy review, take a policy review approach, whether or not you know exactly what's going on based on what you see on the FISET. But the most important thing is that you make communication with the client. So today's not the last day that we're going to talk about it. Today is an exposure, okay? And we're going to talk about this again tomorrow as you all continue to work the program. And we'll keep talking about it until everybody kind of has an understanding of it. But the key is you can't just look at it and you can't say, boy, that's really cool. I'm sure that's going to help somebody somewhere, someplace. We want to make sure that it's helping us. But to do that, to benefit from tomorrow's class, you want to at least jump in there today. So the question becomes, well, when do I jump into it? Two ways to approach this. So you can make it the first thing that you do. Watch those mute buttons there. Somebody saying, where's my something? And I don't know what that thing they're saying where it is, but depending on what they're looking for, it could be embarrassing. If they finish that sentence, watch those mute buttons. If you call them first, that can be good. Some people like that because it's like, hey, here's a nice, warm, easy conversation that I can have. Maybe get my day started with a sale. Or maybe you are an agent and you know yourself and you know that about 6 or 7 o'clock, you're not supposed to do it. But at about 6 or 7 o'clock, you're winding down and you're trying to sneak your way off of the phones. And you're like, you know what? Keep me on the phones. If it's 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, and I'm getting ready to get off the phones and I shouldn't, and I haven't made a sale yet. You know, a great campaign to work will be that birthday lead campaign to extend my day. There's no wrong way to do that. Of course, if you do it towards the evening to extend your day, if there's any policy reviews that are required, you can, of course, you could get some sales at night when there's not a policy review required. You could schedule some policy reviews for the very next morning, or to access any offices or banks or whatever that are open in the morning. But that could be a way to get an extra sale at night. There's no wrong formula. The only wrong thing to do will be not to call them at all.
Henry, can I ask Tanya a question?
Sure.
Tanya, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
So this, will this show like every policy that the agent ever sold? For an example, if we have somebody that started in 2015, 11 years ago, would this show every policy they ever sold, whether it's in force or not, that has a birthday in June?
Not every policy.
It would show, I'm sure, all the in force policies.
Definitely all the enforced policies are what my system determined is it still in force.
Yes.
What we eliminated at the moment is if the policy lapsed more than, or terminated, let's say, more than 3 years ago, we did not place those policies in this June's campaign.
Right.
Kick this off. So if someone took a policy 10 years ago and it terminated 2 years later, so it's 8 years terminated, I did not place those in this campaign.
Okay, and people, I think we rolled out people that were deceased as well.
Yes, if my system knew that the policy that the person passed away, we did pull all the deceased out. So those calls will not be placed to those families.
So if I started 10 years ago, every policy that I ever sold that's in force will be there. that has
Yes,
the June birthday, the next month, July birthday. Any policy that ever sold that's lapsed within the last 3 years will be there.
yes,
Okay,
absolutely. You got it.
thanks.
So I hope you all paid attention to that. That was important information. If you've been here for a while, every single policy you've ever written that's still in force is there, so you can communicate with them. I don't recommend that if you've been here for a while, you look at a name and go, oh, Mr. Jones, I already know everything that's going on with Mr. Jones. I'll just skip that one. Because we don't know what happened to Mr. Jones within the last 24 hours. You might know what happened to Mr. Jones 6 months ago when you talk to him. You might know that every time you talk to Mr. Jones, it seems like nothing has changed. But we don't know what happened to Mr. Jones within the last 24 hours. So I will call everybody if it was me, because everybody is an opportunity to either protect that policy by bringing it down a little bit if need be, protect that person's coverage by increasing it if need be, protect that person by putting information back on the books if it just lapsed yesterday and the system hasn't caught it yet, or get a referral from that person that needs coverage. So here's what we've got. We've got this concept right now. And it's like, hey, this is pretty cool. They tell me that my clients are there. I suppose if I called it, good things could happen. But today is the day that you need to get your toes in the water. We're going to do some more training tomorrow, but I want you to have a frame of reference. Right now, you've seen some leads on the screen. So I want everybody who has access to this campaign, which is going to be everybody who wrote any type of business, and any business that you wrote, somebody had a birthday in June. If that business, if you're new, if you wrote them within the last year and their birthday's in June, they're going to be in there. If you've been here 10 years and their birthday's in June, they're going to be in there. But today's mission is to just get in there, familiarize yourself, read through, communicate with a couple of clients, so that when we go through training tomorrow, instead of it being a hypothetical, you're able to actually relate. Make sense? So today's mission is actually open the campaign, go in there, see if you have any clients that have a June birthday. If you do, run through the PEC for them, get familiar with the process, try to understand the 5 steps. So today is the day to go in there, look around, try to get yourself a sale, so that when we are training tomorrow, you know what we're talking about. All right, that's the mission. So maybe, how about this? How about everybody jump in there today and kind of work your way around, see if you can get a sale. Tomorrow we'll do a training. We'll have you jump in there tomorrow as well. And then why don't we do ourselves a little wheel spin on Friday? We'll come together Friday morning, and there's 2 ways to get on this wheel. All right. You can either get a sale from this campaign of any size, or you can get a referral sale. A referral sale that you get from this campaign as well. Hold on one second. I'm saying words right coming in. All right. You can get a referral sale from this campaign. And if you get on the wheel, we'll just do it. We'll do this. Making sales is as easy as 1, 2, 3. So on the Friday wheel spin, we'll have a $100 wheel spin, $200 wheel spin, $300 wheel spin. For anybody who's able to generate a sale from this program, either today or tomorrow, we'll get together Friday to give you a little extra motivation to make this part of your routine today and tomorrow. So, and please hold, James Whitley has a comment.
It's a little bit in the chat there, and then Tanya put it in there, but just so everyone doesn't start posting and group me and stuff. If you do not see your birthday lead campaign yet, the lead department is currently making them active, so just be patient. Vicky Pocious, you definitely have a ton of birthday leads, so they will be there. Same for you, John. So just hang tight. You'll see the lead department making those active, so you will see them very shortly. So,
Tanya, when do you feel all the agents programs would be active? When-
Leads department is currently going agent by agent, turning them on right now and making them active. So within the hour, as we're going down the list, some agents will have them in 10 minutes, someone will have them in 20 minutes, but it shouldn't be much after 9 o'clock. They're working on that now.
All right. So everybody jump on the phones with your regularly scheduled programming. So be on the lookout for live transfers. Go ahead and start with your usual call patterns. And then at some point, a little bit later in the day, the birthday lead program will be available for all. So we're going to close this call, let you get a little 5-minute huddle with your teams. And then we're going to jump on the phones and get this day started. So let's wrap this call up with a reminder that we don't make excuses. Only results count. The louder you say it, the more you believe it. The more you believe it, the more you sell. We'll count it down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No excuses, only results count. Amen. Everyone.
No excuses.
If you're